Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome to another track guide. This time it's IMSA, Circuit of the Americas with the LMP2. I'm gonna be showing you guys my lap. The track conditions are really good. Around 19C when I was doing my lap, at least that's what iRacing says it should be. 51.992 is the best lap I can get so far. A little disclaimer, I only bought the track 3 days ago, so I'm still kind of getting used to it, but I think this lap is correct enough to show you guys the really important bits. And if I do make mistakes, I'm gonna let you guys know where I could have improved. If you enjoy this track guide, please leave a like, subscribe, let me know how you think I can make it better, and maybe leave a follow on my Twitch channel if you guys want to see me race there this week. I'm gonna start by showing you guys the lap. After that, I'm gonna analyze the lap corner by corner and show you guys exactly my tips and tricks that I found for this track. Let's get to it. So coming up to turn number 1, I think it took me about 3 hours to figure out the braking point here. You can see there's a pole here. You can barely see it from this angle, but there's a pole here, and that's sort of my indication on when I need to brake. That's the best marker that I found. Because you're going uphill, you can brake very hard and very late. There's so much weight on the front tires that you can afford to brake very late here. This little guy is my friend. He's helping me each and every lap to be somewhat consistent here. And I'm braking extremely late. It seems like I'm not even gonna make it through the corner, but notice how I'm starting to turn the wheel. This white line can help you a lot. Starting to turn the wheel slightly, because you're still braking super hard right now. We're braking very slightly. We're turning the wheel very slightly. And starting to release the brake, 50%, still braking, going into trail braking mode when I'm giving it a lot of input. So 90%, you can probably give it a little bit more. I think I have, in fact. Yeah. Getting close to full lock here. And you're trying to get the car to turn around without rotating the rear end. Very tricky corner. I want to show you guys the line I took from the outside. And then we're going to go very smoothly over it. And see how I kissed the apex almost perfectly. That's the line you want to try to take. It took me a few days to find this line. And if you catch the curb on the inside here, it's going to make the car bounce even a little bit. Even if you put 2 wheels here, this is definitely a no-go. But even if you put the 2 wheels here, it's not going to ruin your race, but it's not going to give you a good lap time. Keep that in mind. Try not to use all of the outside because you want to line your car up. You don't have to be super wide on the next corner, but you want to line your car up nice and easy. As you can see, I kept the car straight. That's because I'm in first gear right now, and I'm trying to put the power down. And that's another tricky bit of this corner. So I'm coming out. I'll show you when I'm shifting up. See, first gear is so long here. You really want to be able to maximize it before you put it in second gear. You don't want to short shift, so you need a straight line to do it in. So I was kind of late going back to the outside before the next corner, but the reason for that is obvious. I wanted to put the power down. You don't have to be all the way to the outside. It's a very easy corner for this car. In fact, this entire sector, if I can give you 1 point before we continue, is be early on the apex. Okay, so the first sector, early on the apex. Last sector, very late on the apex. Or last two sectors, in fact, very late on the apex. So here, I'm starting early. I'm hugging the inside, very long corner. You want to take a short route. And I'm still full throttle at this point. Fifth gear, up to fifth. Again, lining the car up very early. Now, I want to be as close to this curb as possible without touching it. You touch it, you go airborne. Don't want to do that, but you definitely want to be as close as possible. I'm going to go over very slowly, touching that, and now I'm braking. This isn't a lot of brake, probably around 40% into fourth gear. Okay, so the momentum here is corner, downshift, corner, downshift, corner, downshift. 3 times in a row, you'll find it. So into fourth, again, as close and as early into the apex as I can. And now I'm gonna brake again into third. Again, hugging the apex, and I'm staying in third here. And this is like a double apex. So this is your first apex, the yellow marker here, the yellow bump stop really. This is your first apex, and you can afford, and it's probably desirable that you let the car go wide here. Let it go wide because you want to hit the second apex. Now there's no marker for the second apex, but you can clearly see how it kind of bends further here, and the angle is much steeper. And you want to keep the car all the way to the right, or as right as you can without losing too much speed, because you want to prepare yourself for this corner, which is second gear. Again, early on the apex, cutting it, and second gear. I'm looking for the grip because I don't want to over rotate the car. Very little braking, you can see from third into second. Very little braking. Looking for the apex on the inside, and I'm going back to the throttle. I'm keeping it in second. I don't want to have to downshift here again. This corner and the one after that is the result of everything you've done so far. The whole first sector comes down to these two corners. So I'm hard on the brakes. I'm making sure around, let's say around 60%, very briefly, and then I'm going into trail brake, and I'm gonna keep that trail brake. Make sure I can hug this curb all the way through. Never go wide here because you want to set yourself up for the exit, which is a left-hander. Okay, any more than where I am right now, and it's good to show you at this point my chase. Any more than where I am right now, if I had an inch to the right, would have been a 1x. Keep it in mind. Don't want to cut this corner too much. It's very tempting to do that, but there's so much grip on the inside here. You really don't have to. I was kind of fortunate that it turned out that I didn't get a 1x. I was kind of positive that I will, but this is pretty much on the limit. Hugging it, fiddle around with the throttle, making sure the car is lined up. This is my last apex for this sector, and I'm trying to get a wide entry here. I'm not trying to cut it close, turn in a little bit later. There's a dip here, and after that dip, the back end kicks out. It's always gonna kick out. There's two ways you can go about it. One is the way I did it, which is just to feather the throttle and be very gentle. You can see I'm almost like 10% throttle at this point, and I'm going back to it slowly. 50%, 60%. I'm stalling a little bit and then going back to 100. And I'm still correcting the slide, so that means the back end still came out even though I was very gentle with it. Another method, if you find it if you find it somehow difficult to do what I just did, short shift into third right after the apex. So that will make your life a lot easier. So if in this point I'm feathering it and I'm looking for the grip, if you short shift into third, you might lose a tenth, but you'll be a little more stable on the exit. You might be able to floor it a little bit sooner. So keep that in mind if you're struggling to take this corner in second gear. Very simple corner coming up. I'm just clipping the apex to take a shorter route. And a vital braking point. A lot of people will be doing some overtaking here, I'm sure, because it's very wide. It's very easy to start turning in early here. I've discovered that that's not recommended, at least not in this car. Probably because the turning circle isn't great. So if you want to carry the speed into the apex here, you want to have a wide turning circle and try to carry the speed. Lots and lots and lots of brakes. My braking marker here is the white line on the right here, and I'm braking very hard. You can see I'm already starting to lift the throttle as I'm getting close to it, and as I'm crossing it, I'm already on full brake. And I'm staying on the brake. Got another white marker here. This guy will help you a lot, letting you know when to turn in. I'm starting to turn in a tiny bit, but I still got too much brake going on. I'm shifting all the way down to first. Now the momentum here is you want to brake very hard and shift down very quickly. And once you get that groove, as soon as you hit first gear, you know it's time to turn in. Okay? So it's hard because I'm running a single screen. I'm guessing a lot of you guys are. If you're running a single screen here, this is 100% blind corner. Like in a few feet, in a few meters from now, I'm not seeing the corner at all. I have no idea where the apex is. I'm still braking and I'm still going straight. The gears tell me when I should give it more input. Downshift as fast as possible on that braking point, and as soon as you hit first gear, you know it's time to turn in. And it's a lot of input. You want to be smooth though. You don't want to lose the backhand because you want to maintain as much grip as possible. As you can see, I'm very close to the apex at this point. I'm about to perhaps touch it. Let's keep going from this angle. I'll show you the outside later. A lot of input, more than 90 degrees. I think this is the first track that I had to use more than 90 degrees of wheel. And I'm trying not to use too much of the curb on the way out, even though it's very tempting because it's a very flat curb. But it's a 1X, so you want to avoid it. And you want to be as early on the throttle here without having to correct too much. I had to a little bit, but as long as the traction control doesn't kick in, you should have a decent exit here. And I want to show you guys the outside angle here. I'm just going to go over braking very hard. Starting to release on the second white marker. I'm starting to release the brakes, as you can see. Still shifting down. You can see the blips. Still shifting down. I'm starting to turn the car, but I'm still super wide. There's room for 3 more cars here, or 2 at least. And as I head first, I know how much wheel input I need to give it. Look at how much input I'm giving it right now. Still missed the apex, meaning there's more speed. Definitely more speed out of this corner, but it was good enough for this lap. Good enough for me, that's for sure. And we're leaving for the back straight. Very long straight, very simple one. I'm going to show you the braking point. Staying on the right the whole way through. And I'm looking for the braking point right now. Let's go over to the cockpit view. And you have 2 white markers here, and you want to brake smack dab in the middle of them. Okay, so I'm going frame by frame, and you can see at this point I'm letting off the throttle. That means I'm starting to brake right in the middle of those 2 white markers, braking in a straight line. I'm going diagonally because I don't want to have too much of a wide entry. As you can see, the rubber is starting to be like right around here. It's not all the way to the outside, so you don't want to have too much of a wide entry here. Exactly like the previous corner, really. Braking very, very hard, staying on a lot of percentage of the brakes for a long time, and now into first, trail braking. Don't clip this curb too much. You can clip it a little bit. I'm not sure I have. Maybe just a tiny bit. Nope. That was pretty much as I wanted to clip it. Touch it, the car bounces, you can't put the power down, you're going slow. So that it's that simple, and it applies for a lot of places on this track. So we're still turning a lot of input, turning in late. This is where we start turning late into apexes. Okay, from this point on, most of the apexes, if not all of them, are very late. On the contrary to the first sector, where it's all pretty early. Straighten out the wheel as quickly as possible because we are in first gear, and as soon as that wheel is straight, you can see my throttle input going up and up and up and up. I'm having to correct a little bit, but as soon as I feel like the car is good, I'm flooring it and I'm straightening the car out, going all the way to the left because I'm trying to use as much road as possible for the next corner. Now this corner, this double apex corner, is a bit tricky. It's very tempting. I'm gonna show you guys my line, but I'm gonna stop right in the middle. It's very tempting to let it go all the way out. It will feel more logical at first, as if you're gonna be going faster. But because there's not a lot of full throttle after this point, you're not gonna be gaining from it. In fact, you're gonna lose time through this sector if you do. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to hug the inside. Let's look for my braking point again. Here's a braking marker. You can see this patch of tarmac or whatever it is. You can see it goes a little wider here. That could be a very good indication for you to brake. I haven't even noticed that, but I'm paying attention to. I'm actually noticing it now. Okay, so we're braking into the corner, and I'm trying to keep the car on the inside. Don't want to hit the bump stop, but you can catch the curb here very easily. It's not gonna upset the car. First gear. You can actually keep it in second here. First gear, you get a better exit. As you can see, I'm not using all of the track. There's so much more track, and it's so tempting. You think it's gonna be faster, but I've tried it many times. It is not faster to use all of the track here. So I'm taking the shortest route. I'm straightening the car out, still in first gear. I want to clip this apex again. I'm still feathering it. Look at this. Look at how much time I'm staying on around 60% throttle. I'm still feathering the throttle, being very careful with the car. Try not to get the back end to rotate at all. And only now, after the second apex, I'm getting back to full throttle. If you can go back to full throttle and keep it before the second apex here, you're a god. I salute you, and you should be making these guides. Honestly, very difficult to get the power down there. Okay, probably, well, at least one of the trickiest corners on this track. I'm considering it one corner, and the reason for that is because I'm not even paying attention to this apex. This apex doesn't mean anything to me. You're not looking for it at all. You're not trying to clip it. In fact, I'm staying extra wide. Look at how early I'm starting to brake. Problem with this corner is stability and the timing. When to start braking. So I'm braking super early. And I'm staying around 50% because I don't dare to brake anymore. And I'm going into trail brake kind of mode after the first apex. And I'm going extra wide. It looks like I'm off the rubber. It looks like I'm not even taking the right line. But everything I've tried so far indicates that this is the best way. This is the latest apex I've ever seen on any racetrack. Very, very, very late. And you, God forbid you touch this curb, because that will make the car bounce and you will lose all your exit speed. Super late. And I want to show you guys the cockpit view. But I just want to show you the line and how late you gotta hit it. Basically, as soon as you're close to the apex here, you're already exiting the corner. You're not gonna be... It's so tricky. I can't even explain how tricky this corner is. Let me show you the cockpit view here. And I'm gonna take it slow. Starting to brake before. 50%, going into trail brake. It's looking like I'm understeering out of the track, isn't it? And I'm starting to turn in, and the point where you decide to really turn in the car is the most crucial part of this corner. I don't have an indicator here. This is all by feel. This is probably why I'm not very consistent with this car. This is all what you guys are seeing right now is my field of view. This is how I drive with this thing. So it's very hard to kind of guess, but once you do 20-30 laps here, you're starting to get the groove of it. If I see if I see the apex here, and I already got 90% of the wheel in it, I know I'm pretty good. I'm coming back to the throttle because I have plenty of room on the exit. If you take it late, you got plenty of room on the exit, and you gain a lot because there's a lot of high speed corners coming up, and you want to be carrying as much speed as possible. Yeah, so I was using all of the track, and I was trying to accelerate in a straight line, sort of. Straighten the wheel out, a lot of throttle, and as I hit the curb, shifting up into second. Now, this batch of corners probably took me, I think I figured it out just today. There could be like an easy 2/10 for me if I just cleaned it up a little bit, but I'm trying to show you guys the sort of the right line. So I'm missing the first apex. We have 3 or 4 apexes here. I'm missing the first apex. I'm staying in the middle of the road. You don't want to hit the first apex. It's gonna make you go wide. You're gonna have to trust me on that, or at least try for yourself. Missing the first apex, looking for the second one. I'm already getting the back end to lose grip. I'm lifting, big lift here. You want all the neutrality you can get because you're setting yourself up here. The first apex you touch is basically a setup for the next apex, which is the most important one in this sector. Setting the car up, I'm making sure I'm on the rubber and I'm on the inside because I want this guy right here. And now I'm flooring it. Third, fourth, staying in fourth here. It's very tempting to go to fifth. You don't need it. And braking hard into this corner. Now, this left-hander, you can cut it quite a lot. And believe it or not, it's going to look like it's going to make your car jump all over the place. It's not. This curb is somehow your friend. So you want to put your wheels on it if you can time it correctly and enter late enough. You want to have a late entry here. The later entry you get, the more speed you'll be able to carry through this curb because the exit kind of shuts in on you. Okay, so that was my problem all the time until I figured out that you gotta enter very late. I've managed to improve this lap a little bit already, this sector, by entering a little later than what I have. Let's try to find an indication on when I'm starting to brake here. Okay, so you can see on the right here, you got this screen, I guess. I think this is a screen. That could be your indication when it goes all the way to your right that you need to start braking. But either way, I'm kind of doing it by feel. In my field of view, you can also use this orange marker as your braking point. And I'm braking very hard, and I'm releasing it very quickly. And I'm turning in late, right around here. Cutting this curb as much as I can without getting off track. If you got too much, you get a time penalty. If you got a little bit too much, you get an off track. I'm putting my left wheel right on the yellow curb, and I'm looking for the exit here. This is a very tricky exit. It's very easy to get a 1x here. I'm being super careful. I really screwed up this corner. Okay, so if there's anything you want to learn here is what not to do. I braked too late, and because I braked too late, I couldn't find the apex. So I braked very late here. As you can see, I'm only full braking right here, and that is too late. Problem with this corner, I don't really have a braking marker, but usually I want to have full brakes or at least 50% brakes already right around here. This is where I usually brake, but because this lap was so clean, it's still my fastest lap. But I lost 3/10 dead here by braking a little too late. The line was correct. I'm trying to find the apex, but I was just carrying too much speed. And I couldn't find it. The backhand was stepping up because I was still braking too hard for this amount of wheel angle. I missed the apex by a long way. You can put your front wheel on the curb here. It's gonna be perfect. And if you do, your exit will be so much better. So I lost time by taking a longer route, by carrying less speed through the corner, and having a bad exit. Those were 3 things that I lost just by braking a little too late here. Start by braking extra early where I showed you, and it's gonna give you a much better run to the main straight where a lot of people will be attempting to overtake you, and you will be attempting to overtake people. Make sure you always get a good run here. Always focus on this corner, unlike what I just did. And that will conclude the track guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you'll have fun at IMSA. Tell me about your experiences. Jump into the Discord. Follow me on Twitch. Leave a like, subscribe. Let me know if you didn't like this video. That's gonna help me a lot. There's some things that are like annoying you guys. If it's bothering you, if you feel like I'm missing out on something crucial, please let me know. I'm trying to improve myself. I'm gonna be doing these videos every week, so I definitely want to improve for you guys. I want to give you guys a better show, be more useful, and for that I'm gonna need some feedback. So please, if you have the 2 minutes to type in something, say, hey, you can do this better, you can do that better, I'll really appreciate it. Either way, have an awesome day, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.